Hey everybody, welcome to the Flight Sim Deck. My name is Patrick, and here we are with another episode of Historical Weather, where we'll fly into some significant weather of the past, and I leave it up to you guys to decide where we're going to fly. 3 Snowy Man commented on my last video, and I decided to do this approach into Dutch Harbor. He even provided the meter, so I was very pleased with that one. Thought that one was a good idea. A lot of people requested Hurricane Matthew and Hurricane Katrina, and I might be open to doing that. I know in the beginning I said I would like to keep this as realistic as possible, but it is a simulator after all, and it would be maybe fun to try that out. So I might consider doing those. If you have any ideas, just leave a comment, and I might select yours for the episode. Sometimes I think I'll pick my own, but I am going to rely on using your suggestions for weather. Now, you can get creative. It can be anywhere in the world. And then, you know, we can go 40 years back or so with weather, so it can be any time you want. So I'll get creative, find something, and I might fly it. Now, with this approach, we're going to do the backdoor approach into Dutch Harbor, runway 31, but in this simulator it's 30. They've since changed it to 31, but you'll see it as 30. This is just going to be the default airport, except for it I am using Orbx North America, the openLC. So you'll see the mountain textures from that, but the airport itself is it's a default airport. I did use Rex to make the runway look more realistic to what it looks like in real life. So I did fix that up. It's going to be a very windy approach. The winds are coming out of the northwest, as you saw. And on the meter on the weather site I'm using, it says the winds at this time are 25.3 miles per hour, gusting to 33.4. But when I tuned the ATIS prior to this, it was saying the winds at the airport are 30 miles per hour. So that's going to be pretty strong. I've actually never flown the Cessna 172 in winds even close to that, so that's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be a little bit of a fight to get it on the ground. I don't have a lot of experience of that in this plane, and so it'll be interesting. It'll be cool. It's cool to see what happens. You know, this plane, you can take some abuse. I was talking to my friend Tim from, does the Country Flyboy YouTube channel, and he was saying his flight instructor told him, you know, back in the day with the 172, or maybe the 152, I don't know what he was training in, but one of these trainers, and he was telling him, you know, be rough with her because that's what she wants, you know, referring to the Cessna. So I don't know, that might end up being a rough landing or not, but right now we're flying in. We're going to fly along the mountain here and kind of getting pushed towards it. That'll be the winds doing that, obviously, and we're just going to go around here. Kind of, you see how the mountains curve. We'll curve around there and then into the runway. That's actually a very nice approach, and I've never done it before. Actually, never flown into this airport, and never attempted to fly in winds of that speed. So far so good. We're making our way down there. Still kind of early in the morning in Alaska. Now, this was, you know, just back a month ago. Now, like I said, you can find something from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, anything you want. I definitely think I need to do an approach into Martha's Vineyard in the same situation that JFK was in. That might be one of the historical weathers that I do. But that's what I mean, you know, just something historical about it, even if there was a crash or anything like that. Just now, the last video I did was an approach Cat 3B into Sacramento, California, into KSMF, where it was very foggy, and that was a fun approach to do. I actually learned a few things. Flew into the wrong side of the runway. I flew into 16. What is it? 16 left, and the ILS is actually on the other side, 3-4 right. So got that wrong, and just a little couple minor things that, you know, I learned in the comments. So that's cool. It's cool. And then some people even tried it out themselves. They loaded up the meter, uh, or meter, um, and flew it themselves. And I'm going to do that with this approach. I'll leave it in there, and you can load it in and fire up Dutch Harbor and try to fly it in. Now, I do recommend using an A2A aircraft. That's where you'll get the most realism, because this plane is very unforgiving. You have to really really do everything right for it to be happy with the landing. And we're just going to head straight a little more, and then we're going to turn into the runway. Kind of getting the crosswind effect right now. We won't once we turn, because the winds are going to mainly be in front of us, but at an angle a little bit. So we won't have a problem with drifting too much away from the runway. It's more going to be a problem of trying to keep the plane down. We'll probably want to lift the plane up. And we're going to make our turn now. Still a little high on the glide slope, but that's going to be okay. Beautiful mountains out there, full of snow. And the city just decided to turn their lights on. Guess they didn't pay the power bill. I don't know. Okay. Gonna try to do this nice and easy. Put some flaps down. Of course it wants to lift the plane a little bit, so we trim a little bit. Okay, trying to get onto the runway. Looking good so far. Just getting pushed around a little bit, but we're gonna have to really fight it once we get a little lower. So I'm gonna concentrate. Definitely wants to float. And we're down, wow. Well, at least we're still rolling. Didn't shear the gear off. Actually wasn't too bad. I actually watched a lot of high wind landings in this plane, and I noticed you do have to use a lot of stick to get it to cooperate. And I got a good video for you guys too. I'm gonna leave it in the description. It was a I believe it was a crosswind landing contest. It was I don't know what the winds were, but really interesting to see. It was all like 172s. And really interesting to see these planes try to land in this. Some of them get completely sideways and bouncing, and you know, I think a lot of these guys just had were kind of using maybe a poor technique, as I just displayed here. But I did what I could, and I'm sure they did too. I'm sure it's a lot harder to be in that situation trying to land the plane than, you know, talking bad about the pilots, but you know. That happens, but let's take a look at the replays. We're gonna, as we turn off the runway here. We're gonna look at it. Always good to check out the replay, see how you did it. It's actually not too bad. At least I wasn't too high above the ground. Landed kind of flat on the left gear, but I've seen a lot worse in this plane in some real life videos. So I wish I could have done a better landing for you guys, but you know, winds of that strong are not easy to fly in. But overall, I don't think it was that bad. I give myself a C+. Alright, we're gonna pull the mixture out, the throttle. Already got the avionics off, and we're gonna get this thing turned off and get out of here. Get the beacon light off and the master switch. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.